But before reconstruction can even begin, Ukraine has to ensure support from the U.S. continues under the next president. The U.S. President-elect Donald Trump has repeatedly criticized the provision of continued aid to Ukraine. Megumi Lim reports on what the country's future could look like next year.
Ukrainians are bracing for the most difficult winter of war, with looming blackouts and more missile attacks. And with Donald Trump's election win, there are worries about what's next for their country. Will he cut off aid and freeze the front lines in Russia's favor? Some reports have suggested that Trump's peace plan may include creating a buffer zone based on the current front lines, with the U.S. continuing to provide weapons to Ukraine to prevent another Russian invasion, but in exchange for Kyiv dropping its ambitions to join NATO for the next 20 years.
Imagine, for example,
despite all this, politicians here have expressed cautious optimism.
What is plausible is that Trump might try to make Russia and Ukraine to sit at the table of negotiations and to come up with a, for example, ceasefire or something like that. He might try to do this. But I'm very skeptical about this scenario, even if he tries to do this, because for a very simple reason, Putin is not interested in peace. He will realize that it makes no sense to negotiate with Putin. It gives me some, I would say, grounds for optimism, for cautious optimism.
Meanwhile, Russia has not backed down. Over the past few weeks, drone attacks have intensified, almost nightly, wreaking terror aimed at weakening the resolve of Ukrainians. And on the battlefield, North Korean soldiers have joined the fight alongside Russian forces, while Ukrainian troops have steadily lost ground. It is clear that Russia's ambition to control Ukraine has not changed. That is why officials here are saying security guarantees are crucial, especially if Trump pushes for a ceasefire. Ole Ryabchuk, a former Ukrainian politician, doubts Kyiv will receive an invitation to join NATO in the near future. But he says there are other options.
Therefore, we'll be concentrating on what kind of securities. The U.S. have this instrument. So for us, it would be enough to have real special partnership out of NATO, kind of partnership U.S. has with Israel, probably with Taiwan, where there would be clear commitment.
Thank you so much. Optimism about Trump's presidency also stems from frustration that has been mounting towards Biden's cautious approach to aid, such as past delays in approving certain types of weapons for fear of escalation.
So if they would stay in power, most probably there would be same well-measured escalation management where we are losing constantly so many lives and territories because we are not allowed to have enough force to counter it. With Trump, there is this chance.
The problem is, the Republican Party, with majorities in the U.S. Senate and House of Representatives, has shown unwillingness to continue providing military support for Ukraine.
President Trump.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was one of the first world leaders to congratulate Trump on his election win. And now that the U.S. election has ended, it is Zelensky's turn to campaign for Trump's vote. Megumi Lim, CNA, Kyiv.